So guys, welcome back to my channel. I was really waiting to do this video and post it, and today is the day I finally posted. So please give a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I think this series, things we learned from Premier League Match Week 1, will be a little bit difficult topic, so I'll need a lot of your support. So please, if you're new here, subscribe to my channel and give a big thumbs up. So the first game I'll talk about is Arsenal versus Fulham. Arsenal won 3-0 obviously. So firstly I'll talk about Fulham. So what Fulham did really bad in that game was their defending and their lack of concentration. If you look at the first goal, if they did concentrate on the ball, they might could have kept that ball out. And the second one, they let Gabriel score a free header, and lack of concentration and poor defending. And the third goal, yes, Aubameyang's shot was a very nice shot, but if you look at when they were making the play, Fulham player didn't really put pressure. So that's why I think because of lack of concentration and poor defending, they lost the game. For Arsenal, to be honest, in terms of the defenders, I can't say anything as they were not very tested in that game. But for the strikers, they've done a wonderful job. I really don't know how to describe how good they were playing. They were very well drilled in that game. And when they were taking the chances, they were like really using their brain, and they were not really going very fast. Like they were using their brain, like what should they do and stuff like that. So therefore, I think Arsenal striker did a wonderful job in that game. They did deserve 3 goals. They could have made things worse, but Fulham were like lucky enough in the last 10-20 minutes. They were not letting Arsenal score because they were just like defending and playing the counter-attack football. But in all honesty, Arsenal are looking very good, and I'm really excited what can Arsenal do this season. Crystal Palace versus Southampton is the second game I'll talk about. So firstly, I'll talk about Crystal Palace. As we all know that Crystal Palace is one of the best side in terms of protecting their lead, and this is what they did. And they played really good football. They were playing really good defensive football after scoring the goal. So I was like, to be honest, they are a side that they left their last year form behind, and they are a new side now. So I don't think they will be relegating anymore. I think they'll play some good football this season. And the best thing about Crystal Palace was that defensively they were very, very organized, which I really like about them. So that's why I actually have hope once again for this team. For Southampton, I will forgive them for their first half performance. Second half, I thought they might really put more pressure on Crystal Palace. Yes, they did in the first 20 minutes or 25. I thought they might score an equalizer. But then later on, they start to get a little bit loose and stuff. So after like 70 minutes, I really told myself that there's no way Southampton will come back. Like they're not even pushing Crystal Palace defense anymore and stuff like that. So therefore, I think I was disappointed with their strikers. And defensively, I think they done a good job. They were like so I should say. But I think in terms of strikers, I think they will have to be a little bit show more encouragement when they are going for the goal, especially when they were behind. So I think there was lack of encouragement that game, but I'm really looking forward to this team, to be honest, for the rest of the season. So now let's move on to Leeds versus Liverpool. To be honest, Leeds play very good football, and they didn't do anything silly, I should say. Yes, sometimes defensively they were a little bit lack of awareness, but to be honest, they played a really good game, so I won't really talk about them. And for Liverpool, I think if they want to defend their title, they will have to come up with something. If they play how they were playing against Leeds United, I can tell you, even the top 4 looks impossible, because Arsenal are looking good, Chelsea, Man City, Man United, they all are looking good. So if Liverpool are really going to continue with this kind of football, I can't really see them defending a title. They will really have to come up with something. Yes, in terms of striking, maybe no problem, but then in terms of defending, they will have to come up with something. They can't really play the similar football. If they play this football the entire season, I can tell you they might not even finish top 4, for real. I'm not kidding over here. Liverpool will have to come up with something. For West Ham versus Newcastle, to be honest, there's nothing to talk about at the moment because it was their first game, and both teams were like playing well-balanced football. So there was not much to talk about for that game, and the team that won, it was because they took their chances pretty well, so that's why they won. So to be honest, there's nothing to talk about for that game. West Brom versus Leicester City. To be honest, I know West Bromwich was going to lose, but I still give them a chance. I thought maybe they had the same squad, so the chemistry might paid off. But it completely didn't. In the first 10-20 minutes, they were looking good. But afterward, like the 30th, From 30 to 35 minutes, Leicester City started to put pressure, and from there onward, they couldn't come back. But still, it's hard to judge what kind of football they'll play this season, as this was their first game, and they played some good football in the first 20 minutes, and then later on they played some terrible football. So it's interesting to see what kind of football they'll play the entire season. But to be honest, I have no hope for them. I think they will be relegating. For Leicester City, to be honest, I won't say it was a convincing win as they got two penalties. But in terms of their self-esteem, I think is a good win. Like 3-0 win is a good one. Wardy got two goals, so it is really good for him. And if he is confident, then it's really good for Leicester City. But still, to be honest, there's not much to talk about them because they were playing similar football what they played the entire season. Last season, I mean, like they play some attacking football, but sometimes even with their attacking football, they'll do some silly stuff and start losing games. So it's hard to judge at the moment. So, but to be honest, it was a good win and interesting to see what they will do the rest of the season, especially with the Europa. So for Tottenham versus Everton, to be honest, I was watching the game live for the first half only. I actually didn't watch the second half, and I actually couldn't find a clip that I can explain to you guys more about what I thought about that game. So what if I said something wrong? Please don't mind. To be honest, Tottenham was just disappointing. There's nothing to say about them. They were just disappointing. They weren't really picking up their game in the entire game. So I think that was the most disappointing part. Even though you had your three fit players, top players, which is Harry Kane, Son, and Dele Alli. So it was kind of very disappointing that they couldn't pick up a point at least against Everton. But to be honest, for Everton, I think they played some really good football. I really misjudged this team, and I actually saw the injury list wrongly. I thought there were five players injured, but it was four, and one of them I thought was injured was Andrew Gomez, but he wasn't. So I think he was a huge boost for them. So Everton winning 1-0, yes, they deserved that win. They played some really good football. James Rodriguez was good. He got a man of the match. So this team is gonna go far this season. Now let's move on to Sheffield United versus Wolves, which was the second last game. To be honest, I think Wolves were really good in the first few minutes. They were taking their chances, and Raul Jimenez was looking very good. It looks like he's gonna score one or two more goals at least because he was full of confidence. But I think around the second half onward, Sheffield started to put pressure. So Wolves mostly started to play defending and counter-attack football. They did play good counter-attack football. I think Adama Traore, if he wasn't a little bit selfish, I think Wolves might have won the game by 3-0 or 4-0. But I'm not saying he is a selfish player. He knows they're winning 2-0 and he did a lot during the counter-attack. So it's maybe I should go for the shot as well. So yeah, but to be honest, Wolves played well. Striker did their job, and then the defender were very well drilled. So to be honest, for Wolves, there's nothing to talk about. They're looking good and they're looking sharp. For Sheffield United, to be honest, the first half, yes, they weren't really good, and then in the second half, they were very good. They were playing some really good football. They were playing attacking football. They were really asking questions. But Wolves, we all know their defense is kind of strong, so their defense really held off to Sheffield United attack. As we all know, Sheffield United don't really have a strong attack. But I think Sheffield United still are looking good, and I think they will finish mid-table team. And it's interesting to see what will they do the rest of the season. So the last game I'll talk about is Brighton versus Chelsea. First, I'll talk about Brighton. To be honest, they played very good football until Chelsea scored a third goal. They were looking very good. They were looking to find an equalizer, or they were trying a way to find the lead and stuff. So to be honest, they played some really good football, and I wasn't really surprised that they were gonna play this beautiful, because as I've been saying for many videos, this team is looking very good this season, and I really think they'll finish a little bit high this season. And with this game, I think in terms of scoreline, yes, it was against them, but they played some very good football. So for Chelsea, I think they might be disappointing with them, the fans and stuff, because Chelsea were not playing the Chelsea type of football. Chelsea were happy to sit back. Yes, they got 3 points, and it was a convincing win, to be honest. And then one of the recent star that arrived, Timo Werner. He was looking very good, but I think he should have like controlled himself for a second or two whenever he tried to kick the ball, because I think he was just getting too eager to score a goal. He was just kicking without thinking. He just needed a goal. Like this, what I look. This is what I feel like he was doing. So generally, I think Lampard should be happy with his team. They got 3 points, but they still got some work to do. Like, are they going to play that counter-attack football the entire season, or it was just because Brighton were like looking good, so they were like waiting for them to do a mistake? So it's going to be interesting, like what he come up with next weekend. So yeah. So that's the end of this match week. Things we learned from Premier League match week 1. Stay tuned for match week 2 preview and prediction, as we all know that Manchester United and Manchester City is coming back. And as I know, some of my subscribers are Manchester United and Manchester City fans. So yeah, good luck to your team. And please give a big thumbs up to my channel. And if you didn't subscribe, please subscribe.